welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have another huge book haul. RIP my bank account. Let's just put this in a place so you can better see me. 1 second. Much better. And I did move you guys a little bit closer. That kind of made me sweat. Anyways, before we get into this video, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you because I reached 1,000 subscribers a few days ago. It just makes me so happy. I started this channel as for fun. I didn't think that this many people would watch and subscribe to my channel. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you guys. Anyways, I've been buying so many books the past like month and a half, but there's a good reason. This is gonna be my summer book haul video. I figured I need new books for this new season so I can read books that are set in summer while it's summer. It just makes reading so much better. I'm just making up excuses for my book buying addiction. It's fine. I think I have over 40 again. The last video I did, you guys love so much. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it somewhere up here, but it is the first book haul video that I've ever done, and I had, I think, like 40 plus or 43 books, but let me count. What? I just lost count. I have 42 new books that I bought in the past month and a half. I really need to commit to that book buying ban since that last book haul video I did. But anyways, let's get started. So as I mentioned, this is like a spring/summer book haul. I really wanted to get new books that were set in summer and just made me feel like summer because it's summertime and there's nothing better than your books aligning with the season or time you're in. When I think of spring and summer books, I think of romance specifically, so this haul is gonna be mostly romance. There's some miscellaneous books that I bought that don't really fit this category, but whatever. I'm just gonna show you guys. So let's start with this pile first. This pile is a bunch of series. The first series is the Addicted series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So I only have the first 3 books, which is Addicted to You, Ricochet, and Addicted for Now. I was gonna buy the whole series, but I just didn't want to commit. I just think like, what if I don't end up liking it? So I just bought the first 3. Little bit of self-control there. So these first 3 books, correct me if I'm not mistaken, is the Addicted series, and then the next books are about some other characters, but then it comes back to these characters. The reason why I wanted to read these books is because I love the rich people drama. Like, it's so entertaining. Based online on a website that I searched up, it says the Addicted series follows 3 sisters, heiresses of a soda empire, and their romances. And for the first 3 books, from my understanding, is about Lily and Lo and their love story and their addictions and how they overcome that. And then I guess like the other sisters are in here too, just introducing them, but then they have their own books later on. The next 3 books I'm really excited about. You're probably gonna hear me say that about every book that I show you guys today, but the next 3 books, I don't know if they're a series or whatever, but a lot of people recommend reading them in chronological order of like the publishing date, and it is Every Summer After, Meet Me at the Lake, and This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. So the first one, Every Summer After, is about Percy and Sam were basically best friends during their childhood, and then, you know, it blossomed to something else, but then they end up growing apart and some things happen that push them away, I guess. So this is more of like a childhood friends to lovers, second chance romance it's giving, and this story is apparently told over the course of 6 years and 1 weekend. It looks very summery. Love the cover. And then Meet Me by the Lake. This book is about Fern and Will. They met and spent 24 hours with each other in their early 20s, best time of their life, in Toronto. This one is also set in Toronto, and I love that because I am in Canada. Apparently the timing was wrong and it just didn't work out for them to be with each other when they first met each other, so they vowed to meet 1 year later. Fern showed up, but Will didn't, and that was that. Fern left her life in the city. She's back home running her mother's like lakeside resort, and it's just a mess. But then Will shows up 10 years later, but he's a completely different person and is willing to help Fern. It sounds interesting. It sounds like a second chance romance again. I'm not sure. But anyways, This Summer Will Be Different just came out, I think last month. Am I right? I don't know. Are all her books just set in Canada? This one? Ugh, I feel like I'm gonna love this one. This one is set in PEI in the East Coast, and I haven't been there. I want want to go there one day. So this story is about Lucy and Felix. Lucy vacations at a beach house in Prince Edward Island, and Felix is a local who shows her around and shows her a good time. And then, you know, things spiral from there. But the only problem is Felix is her best friend's younger brother. See the problem there? So every time she vacations at this summer house, she vows to never end up in his bed again. But you know what happens? Oh my god, I'm so excited about these 3 books too. These 3 books are by Emily Henry. I actually have another book here. It's somewhere here, but I don't really want to grab it because it might topple down. But the first one, very popular read. Everyone loves it. Everyone's obsessed with it. What better time to read it now? Never too late. It's Beach Read. I'm so excited to read this one. This is probably one of the books I'm very excited, like super excited to read, aside from all of these. Like this book is about 2 authors who are like vacationing and they're living in like neighboring beach houses, and they're both in like this writer's block, so they decide to help each other and make this deal. And I think they swap genres that they write. So Augustus writes literary fiction and January writes romance, so they swap genres and try to write a story, and they just kind of help each other. It says she takes him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he takes her to interview surviving members of Backwoods debut cult. And their rule is they have to finish a book and can't fall in love. The next book is People We Meet on Vacation. Okay, so this book is about Poppy and Alex. Apparently, Poppy and Alex have nothing in common. Poppy, she's a wild child. She likes to go party, and Alex is more likes a homebody, likes to stay at home and read and all that. But then they suddenly became best friends after a fateful car share home from college many years ago. So then, ever since that, they agreed to spend 1 week vacation together every summer for like a decade. But then something goes wrong, they just stop until Poppy convinces Alex to go on 1 more vacation. It's giving second chance romance. The next Emily Henry book, I have 1 more, so this is not the last one, is Book Lovers. Don't actually know what this is. I'm guessing they love books. So this book is about Nora and Charlie. So Nora loves books. Books is her entire life. Nora's sister Libby convinces her to go on a month-long vacation to this small town. During that trip, she bumps into an editor named Charlie, and they just like keep bumping into each other. She describes it as a meet cute or something, but it's never been cute is what it says in the back. So sorry, but I'm so bad at explaining. Anyways, let's go to the next pile of books. The first book is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is gonna be my first Tessa Bailey book. Okay, so this book is about Piper Bellinger. I don't know. I don't know how to spell, I don't know how to pronounce, I don't know how to do math, I don't know how I'm about to graduate university. Anyways, this book is about Piper. She's described as fashionable, influential, and her reputation as a wild child means paparazzi are constantly on her heels. But then when she has too much champagne and goes out of control at a rooftop party, her stepfather decides to send her and her sister to learn some responsibility to run her late father's dive bar in Westport, Washington. Apparently this is a small town, and she meets this fisherman named Brendan who thinks she can't last 1 week in the real world, and then she bumps into him all the time because it's a small town and things happen. I'm guessing that's them in the cover. So this is a small town romance. The next book is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz. So this book is giving enemies to lovers, and I think it is an enemies to lovers. So Catalina Martin is desperate to find a date for her sister's wedding, especially since her little white lie of having an American boyfriend is getting out of control, and now everyone she knows, including her ex and his fiance, are gonna be at the wedding. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable if a sibling invited one of my exes to the wedding and I'm there. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe they're good friends. But it says she only has 4 weeks to find someone willing to fly from New York to Spain and pretend to be her boyfriend and be her date to the wedding. Aaron Blackford, tall, handsome, and condescending co-worker, steps in and offers to help. She wants to refuse because it says here he's aggravating, blood-boiling, and an insufferable man, but she has no choice. No one else is stepping in to help her, so she takes him, and it says here, and she begins to realize he might not be as terrible in the real world as he is in the office. Next book is also a new release, I think this month or no, last month, and that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I feel like I already know a little bit about this, but I'm gonna read the back just to make sure I know. So from what I know, she's like a travel nurse, which is so cool because I want to be a travel nurse one day. It doesn't say that in the back though. Anyways, this story is about Emma and Justin. Emma is supposedly cursed, and every guy she dates finds his true love after dating her. But it turns out she's not the only one with a curse. Justin it's so funny. I'll read from the back. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being a love's good luck charm has gone viral. He has a Reddit thread. So the two of them come up with a plan to date each other because then their curses will cancel each other's curses and they'll go on afterwards to find their own soulmates. But then there's things that come up. There's responsibilities they have to take care of, and they're navigating so much things, and they didn't expect to catch feelings for each other. So that's what this book is about. I'm so excited, and just the cover is so pretty. The next book is Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. So this is about Mary Jane in the 1970s in Baltimore. She's 14 years old. She ends up landing this job in a doctor's home, and you know, the mom's like, oh, that's a very respectable job in a respectable house. But then when she gets there, it's the complete opposite. It's a mess, and it's just not what people would assume. So it turns out the doctor is a psychiatrist who decides to take in a famous rock star and his movie star wife for the summer so that the rock star can get cleansed. She basically takes care of them, takes care of the household, cooks dinner, does laundry, all that. With all this, she gets a front row seat to a world of sex, drugs, rock music, and group therapy. And then from this, she kind of like forms a new idea of what she wants to do in her life and who she wants to be. So literary fiction. I haven't read a lot, and I feel like this one's gonna be good. I think it's just a cover that attracted me to this. This next book is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. So this is like a science romance, and I recently read Love Hypothesis, and I love that, and people said that this is basically the same thing but with different characters. I love that story, and if you love that story too and you want like another similar book to it but with different characters, this book is about Bea and Levi. Apparently Levi made the relationship clear between them that they're arch enemies and they work best when employed in their own galaxies far away. But then there's a situation that happens that brings them closer, and Bea sees that Levi kind of ends up softening up to her, and you know, things just, you know what I mean. The next book is also by Ali Hazelwood, Love Theoretically. I heard this was one of like everyone's favorites. This story is about Elsie, who is a science professor, but she also offers services to make up for her non-existent paychecks by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. In this economy, we gotta do whatever we need to pay these bills. Jack Smith comes to the picture. He's described as the annoyingly attractive and arrogant older brother of her favorite client, but then he turns out to be the cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere. And he's the same Jack Smith who rules over the physics department at MIT, standing right between Elsie and her dream job. But falling into an experimentalist's orbit finally tempt her to put her most guarded theories on love into practice. And then the next book, the last one on this pile, is the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. So this book I heard is like a small town romance. It's about Naomi and Knox. Naomi is apparently a runaway bride, but she's not running away from like her fiance and everything. She's running to knock him out to rescue her twin sister Tina. She's described as the evil twin. She's gotten herself into things. Apparently she helped herself to Naomi's car and cash, and then Tina leaves Naomi with her daughter. Now she's responsible to be this kid's guardian with no money, no car, so she tries to find Tina in this small town, but then runs into a bearded bad boy barber named Knox. Knox decides to help her, but it says Knox doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a stranded runaway bride. He says he's just gonna help her, and after that they can go their own separate ways. But you know what happens in romance books. That's what that's about. We finished those two piles. Now we're on to this pile. These are two series. The first series, I already have the first book. This is the rest of the books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. So I have the second book, Terms and Conditions, the last book, The Final Offer. I haven't even read the fine print, but then I was like, if I buy the rest of the books, then it's gonna make me read the books in general. Like, just I started this, didn't really feel like reading it, so I soft DNF'd it. So this series is about three brothers who inherit amusement parks, hotels from their late grandfather, and they basically try to run it. The first book was about Rowan and Zara. I'm not gonna explain that because it's not part of the haul, but Terms and Conditions is about Declan and Iris. I'll just read from the back. Declan, in his point of view: I'm destined to become the next CEO of my family's media. The only problem, my grandfather's inheritance clause. Fulfilling his dying wish of getting married and having an heir seemed impossible until my assistant volunteered for the job. Our marriage was supposed to be the perfect solution to my biggest problem, but the more we act in love for the public, the more unsure I feel about our contract. Caring about Iris was never part of the deal, especially not when breaking her heart is inevitable. This is now in Iris's point of view. My plan to marry Declan was simple in theory: moving together, throw a wedding, have a baby. We set rules to prevent any kind of issues. Ones that never meant to be broken, no matter how much Declan tempts me. But what happens when our fake relationship leads into a real one? Falling in love was never an option, at least not for me. This next one, Final Offer, I heard is like a second chance romance. This is about Callahan and Alana. I'll just read from the back again. This is Callahan's point of view. I'm the teen brother everyone gossips about behind closed doors. Trust fund, brat, washed up athlete, high functioning alcoholic. No one knows the real me but her. Lana, my childhood best friend and the only woman I ever loved. When I broke her heart 6 years ago, I promised to never return to Lake Wisteria. I kept my word until my grandfather's will changed everything. To receive my inheritance, I was tasked with spending a summer at the family lake house before selling it. The request was simple in theory until my entire plan blew up on the very first day. Turns out Lana doesn't just live at the house, but she claims to own it too. So now this is Alana's point of view. Falling in love with Callahan King was a mistake. He told me so before destroying my heart and our friendship 6 summers ago. When he promised never to come back, I foolishly believed him. But then Cal showed up again, intending to sell his grandfather's lake house. The biggest flaw in his plan: my name is on the deed. I feel like this is gonna be my favorite. It's like forced proximity, second chance romance. I'm all for that. The next series is the Kings of Sin series. Oh, it's in the wrong order. I have book 1, 2, 3, and 4 that recently came out. I think April 30th. This series is, I think it's an interconnected series or world containing like standalone books. That's what I heard, but you just want to read it in order. This is still an ongoing series. This series is based on the 7 deadly sins. So right now we have King of Wrath, King of Pride, King of Greed, King of Sloth that recently came out, I think last month as well. There's so many new releases last month. And I think all of these is like a billionaire love story. This first one, King of Wrath, is about Dante and Vivian. So Dante is a billionaire CEO and he thrives on control both personally and professionally. And then Vivian also owns her own business. She's an heiress to one of Dante's business enemies, I'm guessing. But then Dante strikes a deal with Vivian's father, which forces him to marry Vivian. So it's kind of like a marriage of convenience. And then it's also like enemies to lovers. The second book, King of Pride, is about Kai and Isabella. Apparently they're complete polar opposites. Kai is this billionaire who's trying to become CEO at a company, and he's also a billionaire heir, so he can't afford distraction Isabella brings. Kai describes Isabella as a girl with purple hair who has inappropriate jokes and is just chaotic. Isabella is a bartender at an exclusive club that Kai is a part of, and Kai is just off limits for her. But then it says, but she can't deny that beneath his cool exterior is a man who can make her melt with just a touch. No matter how hard they try, they can't resist giving into their forbidden desires, even if it costs them everything. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, Forbidden Love. King of Greed's book is about Dominic and Alessandra. Apparently Dominic is this powerful, brilliant, ambitious man who's built himself an empire at work. He has everything: a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, and more money than he can spend in a lifetime. But that doesn't matter because he wants to get more. Like, he is never satisfied with what he has and wants to get more, which kind of drives his relationship with his wife Alessandra south. Alessandra, the wife, decides she's had enough of this behavior. She realizes she's always come second in his life. It's always his work, blah blah blah, that's first. So she wants to leave him, but then he refuses to let her go, wants to fight for the marriage no matter what it takes. And the last book, King of Sloth. This book is about Xavier and Sloane. Xavier is described as obviously coming from a billionaire family. He's an heiress. He's the heiress of the family's empire, but he has no interest in taking part of any of that. But apparently that hasn't stopped women from throwing themselves at him. He never chases women. Women always comes to him. But then he meets Sloane. Sloane is a publicist used to dealing with difficult clients. She's forced to work with Xavier and he enjoys riling her up and, you know, just antagonizing her. But he, on the other hand, is like charmed and just truly attracted to Sloane because she's immune to his powers of attracting women because Sloane wants nothing to do with him. So that's what the story is about. 2 more piles left. I don't think this is a very good idea. Let's start. So the first book in this pile is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This just gives total summer vibes. So apparently Taylor Jenkins Reid's books are all like interconnected. The first one that I read was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and good thing I read that first because people recommend reading it in chronological publication order because the different characters come up. The characters in this book is the kids of Mick Riva. I think we met him in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Correct me if I'm wrong. wrong. But this is about Nina, Riva, and her brothers Jay and Jude. They're all famous. Nina's a talented surfer and supermodel, and the brothers Jay and Jude are both like professional surfers. This book is described as a story about one unforgettable night in the life of a family. The night they each have to choose what they will keep from the people who made them and what they will leave behind. So apparently they have this crazy party that a lot of people come to, and it just ends up being a mess, I'm guessing, because secrets about their family's generations come to the surface, and yeah, things happen. And the next book is also a Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think this is the second one that people recommend to read, which is Daisy Jones and the Six. I've actually seen I haven't seen the full one. I've just seen clippings of it. There's a show, is it on Prime? Like based on this book? Not sure. I'm just gonna read the back out loud. I feel like that's easier. Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Also getting noticed is the Six, a band led by the brooding Billy Dunn. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camila finds out she's pregnant, and with the pressure of impending fatherhood and fame, Billy goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes that the key to supercharged success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of legend. Another historical fiction. I have a feeling this is not gonna end well. And the next 3 books, these I already read. I will admit that I've already read these, but I read them like a long time ago and I absolutely loved it. I know all of you guys know this book because there's also a show around it, and this is the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I just wanted to have physical copies of them, and I also want to reread them this summer because it's just, I love it. I love the show, I love the books, I love it.
I'm not sure I understand.
This trilogy, if you don't already know, is about Belly and her life with the Fisher Boys. She spent every summer of her life at the cousin's beach house, which her mom's best friends own. Her mom's best friend has these 2 sons named Jeremiah and Conrad. I'm team Conrad, by the way. This is what she looks forward to all year. All her life she's been in love with Conrad, and this summer is different because she's all grown up, she's become a young lady, and she's wondering if Conrad's gonna see her differently. But things don't go as planned because there's this other brother, Jeremiah, and you can connect the dots on that. And I just love it. If you haven't read this or watched the shows, please read it. It's one of my all-time favorites. The next book is also, I think, a new release this year. It is Swift and Saddled. It's the next book after Done and Dusted, which I haven't read still. This is a small town romance, I'm assuming. It says she's the city girl who refuses to be saddled with a man. He's the cowboy who wants her anyway. The next book is The Summer of Broken Rules by KJ Walter, I don't know. This book is about Meredith, who recently lost her sister. She basically shuts everyone out and just is grieving. But then the summer comes around and she's determined to join the world again. And she thinks that the annual family vacation to Martha's Vineyard seems like the perfect place to reconnect with her family and everything, because her extended family is gathering for a wedding, and she specifically goes to the wedding to participate in her family's traditional game of assassin that takes place during the wedding weeks. And Claire, the sister who died, always loved this game, and Meredith is determined to win to honor her legacy. But then Meredith forms an alliance with this cute groomsman to win the game, but then she finds herself getting distracted, and you know, Meredith tries to focus on the game and win it for her sister, but she can't help falling for him. And as the week progresses, she realizes she's not only at risk of losing the game, but also her heart. The next book is The Layover by Lacey Walden. Again, cute cover. I love the bright colors. This book is about a flight attendant named Ava Green who's going on her last flight because she's ready to, like, I guess, hang her wings, it says in the back. But then she finds out that former pilot and current enemy Jack Stone is also on the same trip. He has the nerve to flirt with her. Apparently some stuff happened between them in the past, but then there's mechanical problems on the plane, and the plane had to make a U-turn and pull a quick stop at the Belize airport, where she's forced to stay at a luxury resort in Paradise, which I wouldn't mind. She ends up spending this weekend with him. The more she spends time with him, she second guesses what she knows about him and is like questioning her feelings, I'm guessing. This is like a short book, so I feel like it'd be a nice quick read. The next book is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This is my second book by her. The first one was Better Than the Movies, and I loved that. I'm gonna read the back. First time Bailey meets Charlie, he is the worst. While moving to Omaha after her parents' sudden divorce, Bailey finds herself trapped for 10 hours with a cynical and obnoxiously opinionated stranger, the polar opposite of her careful, well-behaved, cheery temperament. So imagine her surprise when years later Charlie turns out to be her coworker at a new job, but this time around they find themselves talking comfortably and even laughing. Still, they agree they can't stand each other, and when they witness two of the coworkers flirting, their commentary on the moment spirals into a bet. Charlie insists that members of the opposite sex can't be just friends, and Bailey is determined to prove him wrong. Amidst all their bickering and playful banter, Charlie works to deflect the feelings he's felt for Bailey. He is terrified to lose her if his crush becomes known, and what doesn't help his agenda is Bailey and Charlie fake dating in order to disrupt the annoying pleasantries between Bailey's mom and her mom's new boyfriend. Soon, what Charlie was hoping to avoid becomes a reality as Bailey starts to see him as not only a friend, but someone who makes her handshake and heart race. But Charlie has a secret that involves Bailey and another bet Charlie may have made. Can the two make a real go things, or is Charlie's secret doomed? Then before they can start. Okay, the last two books in this pile is by Ellen Hildebrand, and I heard just her books are amazing. I already have one here, The 20 Summers. I still haven't read it, but I'm saving it for summer. All the books she writes are set in Nantucket, and I really want to go there someday because who doesn't? So the first one is The Hotel Nantucket. This book is about Lisbeth Keaton, who is fresh off a breakup with a longtime boyfriend, so she's looking for something to kind of distract her. Apparently she's named the general manager of Hotel Nantucket. She wants to kind of win over their new boss, as well as impress the widely popular Instagram test maker who can help put them back on the map, because apparently the hotel doesn't really have a good reputation, because there was a tragic fire that killed a 19-year-old maid in 1922, and apparently her ghost haunts the hotel. And that sounds interesting because, like, if you look at this, it just looks like a relaxing love story or something, but then it's more than that. There is a ghost, and I was immediately like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. The next book is Golden Girl. So this book is about an author of beach novels who tragically dies from a hit and run. Apparently when she ascends to the beyond, she's assigned to a person named Martha who allows Vivian to watch what happens on Earth for the last summer, and she is granted 3 wishes to change the outcomes of the events that are happening on Earth. She has 3 kids who aren't really doing well. There's also someone investigating her death, and then there's one more thing that she's worried about. She's worried about her final book that she hasn't published yet, and in that book there's like a secret that can ruin her and her family's reputation. So she's worried about that because then the family's left to deal with all that comes with that horrible secret, and that's so interesting. Like, I like how there's different twists in her story. Okay, the last pile. I'm so sorry if this video is like an hour long. Okay, let's speed through this last pile. First 3 books are part of a series that I already own. I own the first 2 books. Is the rest of the book in the Chestnut Spring series. I don't know the order, okay? So don't get mad at me if I get it wrong. Hopeless. This one is about Beau and Bailey, and this is like fake marriage. Reckless is about Theo. It's about Theo. Oh my god, I love Theo. And Winter Hamilton, and I believe this is like an accidental pregnancy trope. And then Jasper and Sloane, 2 childhood friends, so I'm guessing childhood friends to lovers. The next book is a recent release, also I think last month too, and it is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I ended up buying this because I love the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. I feel like this is giving enemies to lovers because it says that she's been driving him wild for years, the good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild, but mostly the kind of wild that comes with wanting your best friend's little sister and knowing you can't have her. So this is like best friend's little sister trope. I don't know if that's a thing. I feel like I just made that up. I have the new Emily Henry book, which is a funny story. I think I've heard so much of this book already on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube because a lot of people are reading this because it's a new release. This is about Daphne and her fiance Peter. From what Daphne thinks, they're in love and happy and stuff, but then Peter realizes that he's in love with his childhood best friend Petra, so he leaves Daphne and ends up being with Petra because that's where his heart lied. But then Daphne ends up living with Miles, who is Petra's ex, and they end up falling in love. Like, that's just a weird story, right? Okay, the next few books aren't really related to like summary romance or whatever, but I've just picked them up. So I have Butcher and Blackbird, and I heard the second book is coming out soon. Next book is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Apparently this is her first take in like fantasy romance. The last 2 books, part of the series. First book is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I heard that if you love ACOTAR that you'll love this too. The next book, I think it's the novella in the series, and it's 6 Scorched Roses. And what bothers me is that they're not the same size. Like, they're in the same series, but they're not the same size. Okay, we finished. So that is all the books that I have for this haul. That was a lot to go through. I'm sorry if I like didn't really describe the books properly or right. I don't know if I made mistakes. I'm sorry. There's 40 books. It's just hard remembering all those things. And most of them I don't even know what it's about. I just read the back and that's all I say. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to thank you guys again for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to further grow this community that I built on this channel. I'm so thankful for all of you guys. Hope to enjoy this video. I hope to see you guys in another video. I can't reach.